We all know the sensation. The ball ripples the back of the net, the away end ignites for one glorious, heart-stopping second. Your team has seized a crucial goal in a monumental game. Then, silence. The referee's finger presses against his ear. The dreaded words flash onto the big screen. VAR check. The elation evaporates, replaced by a cold, familiar dread. This moment, repeated across stadiums every weekend, is a perfect microcosm of such a larger, more corrosive problem brewing at the very heart of English football. Welcome to In the North Bank, and I'm Gunnar Ritchie 1971. If you like what you hear and see, please hit the like button. It helps out the channel, which is Gunnar Ritchie 1971 in the North Bank, and in the North Bank on Facebook and X and everywhere else. Whilst you're at it, if you could hit the subscribe button and set the notifications to all, you won't miss any of the content coming out on the channel. So without further ado, let's get into the video proper. Week after week, the narrative is identical in pubs, on podcasts, and in post-match press conferences. The fury directed at the Pgmol, the organisation governing Premier League referees, has reached a fever pitch. Managers are apathetic, fans feel systematically cheated, and the game itself is perpetually overshadowed by debates over baffling decisions. Yet amid this storm of criticism, there's a statistic that Pgmol chief Howard Webb and his team cling to like a raft. Since the introduction of the video assistant referee, the accuracy of key match incidents has supposedly soared from 82% to an astonishing 96%. On paper, that figure represents a revolution, near perfection. So why does it feel like things have never been worse? Why is it the league plagued by a constant flood for apologies for game-altering errors? This is the paradox at the centre of the debate. Is the relentless criticism truly justified, or is it all just misplaced fan outrage? Is the standard of Pgmol refereeing really that bad? This widespread frustration isn't emerging from a vacuum. It is built on the painful and prolonged saga of controversial decisions that have left fans bewildered and managers incandescent with rage. To truly understand the anger, you have to recognise the pattern, a tapestry woven from dozens of moments that continuously chip away the league's integrity. Rewind to the now infamous Luis Diaz goal for Liverpool against Tottenham. Perfect through ball, a clinical finish, and an offside flag. The VAR at Stockley Park identified the error almost immediately. I knew Diaz was onside, but in a catastrophic breakdown of communication, they mistakenly believed the on-field decision had been to award a goal and uttered the fateful words, "check complete." The goal was wrongly disallowed. And Howard Webb was later forced into a humiliating public apology, releasing the audio of the VAR room to prove it was a significant human error. For Liverpool, who lost the game, the apology was meaningless. The points were gone. This was not an isolated incident. I'll take you back to this one. Right. So, as you can see, this is Wolves where were denied the last gasp penalty against Manchester United when goalkeeper Andre Nana collided heavily with Zaska Kaladic, a decision that left even Onana himself surprised. So we all remember it. Onana comes for the ball through the players. He punches. He doesn't connect with the ball. He feels he feels the Wolves player. Nothing's given. They don't get the point. It's never recovered. It's not. And Howard Webb comes out and Pgmol come out and give the apology. There's just one of many incidents like that. Then we consider the incendiary clash between Arsenal and Newcastle, which drove manager Mikel Arteta to label the officiating an absolute disgrace. A goal was awarded to Newcastle after a chaotic scramble involving a potential ball out of play, a potential foul, and a potential offside. VAR reviewed all three possibilities and found no conclusive evidence to overturn the on-field decisions. Arteta's subsequent fury, which earned him a misconduct charge, became a lightning rod for sentiment shared by millions. The very technology designed to bring clarity had only manufactured more layers of doubt and confusion. Each instance adds another voice to the choir of discontent. Managers like Jurgen Klopp and Mikel Arteta have been vocal critics, but they speak under the constant threat of fines and suspensions from the very organisation they are critiquing. A system many believe actively suppresses honest discussion about its own failings. This is no longer about isolated mistakes, it's about a clear, demonstrable pattern of errors, a pattern of apologies, and a pattern of clubs left questioning the integrity of the entire enterprise. The anger isn't random, it has been earned. With this tidal wave of controversy, how does the Pgmol mount its defence? Its primary shield is that one powerful statistic, a 96% accuracy rate on key match incidents. It's a figure that Howard Webb often brandishes on match officials mic'd up. A programme designed to deliver transparency. The narrative is straightforward. Before VAR, referees were correct approximately 82% of the time. Now, with VAR's assistance, they are correct 96% of the time. A figure determined by an independent panel of former players and coaches. To be fair, this is a significant statistical improvement. The stated goal of VAR was to eliminate the clear and obvious error, the blatant injustice that everyone in the stadium could see was wrong. On that front, one could argue it has largely been a success. Offside decisions now determined by semi-automatic technology and calibrated lines have removed much of subjective guesswork. Pgmol has also reported that the total number of VAR errors has decreased. On shows like Mike Up, Webb deconstructs contentious decisions, playing audio from the conversations between the on-field referee and VAR officials. The stated intention is to educate the public by revealing the methodical processes behind the cause. They walk through specific clauses in the laws of the game, show the precise camera angles the officials are viewing, and explain the rationale behind a decision. From Pgmol's perspective, they are running a more professional operation than ever before, with investments in referee fitness, psychological training, and performance analysis. And when they do get it wrong, as in the Diaz and Onana cases, they now have a policy of issuing formal apologies. So, if we take them at their word, the system is working better than ever. Accuracy is at an all-time high, and a mechanism for accountability is in place. From a detached statistical viewpoint, the public outrage must seem like an emotional overreaction. The problem is football isn't played on a spreadsheet, and that 96% figure, while statistically impressive, conceals a more damaging truth about the other 4%. The chasm between Pgmol's declared success and the visceral anger of the football world is where the real story lies. This isn't about the 96% of decisions that are correct. It's about the nature, timing, and consequences of the 4% that are wrong, and the systemic issues those errors expose. The problem isn't just human error, it's a profound crisis of credibility. On the surface, an apology seems like a constructive step, a transparent admission of mistake. Howard Webb has made it regular practice to contact clubs and concede, we got that one wrong. But with each apology, an unintended consequence unfolds. The authority of the on-field referee is visibly and permanently diminished. Football officiating relies on a delicate contract for 90 minutes. The referee is the ultimate arbiter. Their decisions are an inextricable part of a game's fabric. That authority is essential for maintaining control. However, the current cycle of mistake, outrage for apology has shattered this contract. When the head of Pgmol publicly confirms a game-changing error, it sends an unequivocal message. The person in the middle cannot be trusted. Crucially, the apology does not alter the result. Liverpool did not get their goal back against Spurs. Wolves did not get their point against United. The points are lost. League positions are impacted, and fans are left with a hollow sense of vindication. They were right to be angry, but their team still paid the price. This fosters a cynical environment where every close call is viewed through a lens of suspicions. Fans no longer see a referee making a tough call, they see a potential candidate for next week's apology from Howard Webb. If the apology epidemic erodes authority, it is the shocking level of inconsistency that utterly destroys faith in the system. This is the single biggest complaint, and it strikes at the very heart of sporting integrity. More than any single wrong decision, the feeling that the laws are applied differently from one match to the next suggests a lottery, not a fair competition. Handball is the poster child for this chaos. 1 week, a player's arm is a fraction away from his body, the ball strikes it, and a penalty is given for an unnatural silhouette. The next, an almost identical incident is waved away. I'll take you to this one. The infamous Martin Odegaard handball against Liverpool is a prime example. The Arsenal captain slipped and his hand moved towards the ball. The VAR audio revealed officials felt he was breaking his fall and did not award a penalty. Yet countless penalties have been given for similar situations. Howard Webb himself later admitted that the game expects a penalty in that scenario and the wrong outcome was reached. The same ambiguity applies to red cards. A reckless studs-up challenge might earn a straight red in one game, or a similar tackle in another is deemed only a yellow. This inconsistency isn't just frustrating, it's dangerous. It creates a profound confusion for the players, who no longer know where the line is drawn. This is what fuels accusations of bias, when the marginal call goes one way for one team and another way for a rival. The perception grows that there is one set of rules for the elite and another for everyone else. GMO's own handbook states a principle of a high threshold for VAR intervention, but the application of that threshold is itself wildly inconsistent. This randomness is more corrosive than anything else. This brings us to the central questions. Are referees simply not good enough? Or is the organisation they work for fundamentally broken? The answer appears to be a toxic combination of both. Critics point to the Pgmol as a closed-off, insular entity often described as an old boys club that is profoundly resistant to external oversight, calls for a merit-based promotion and relegation system for referees based on clear performance metrics have been repeatedly made but largely ignored. Such a structure can breed complacency. Many observers also note that the standard of officiating in elite competitions like the Champions League often feels higher, with games flowing more freely. This has prompted serious questions about the PGMO's training and recruitment processes. Is it attracting the best possible candidates and equipping them to handle the immense pressure of a modern Premier League? This is where VAR, was the supposed cure, has become part of the disease. Instead of acting as a simple safety net, it has added layers of confusion and diffused responsibility. Is the on-field referee on charge, or the anonymous official in a room at Stockley Park? The Luis Diaz incident was the ultimate manifestation of this breakdown, a complete failure of process and communication. The technology that promised certainty has in many ways only amplified the chaos. The sheer number of these incidents is staggering, and every fan has that one decision burned into their memory, the one that made them question why they invest so much emotion and time into the sport. What has been the single most frustrating refereeing decision for you this season? Was it a goal disallowed, a penalty denied, or a red card wrongly given? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear which moments stand out as the peak of this officiating crisis for you. And can it be fixed? We are left in a state of perpetual frustration. But can this be broken? Trust be rebuilt? Simply accepting a 96% accuracy rate while the game's credibility burns is not a viable option. Fundamental change is required. First and foremost is the need for radical transparency. Mic'd Up is a sanitised, delayed start. We need to follow the lead of sports like rugby, where the live audio conversations between the on-field referee and the VAR broadcasters, the decision is being made, would instantly demystify the process. whilst giving us in stadium fans a clear understanding of what's going on. While rule-making bodies like IFAB have been resistant, citing the chaotic nature of the discussions, the Premier League and FA have shown interest in pursuing it. Furthermore, referees should be made available for post-match interviews to explain their contentious decisions, just as players and managers are. Secondly, accountability must be real and consequential. Dropping an official for a single match is not a system. There must be a clear public system for ranking referee performance with independent auditors and transparent metrics. A genuine promotion and relegation structure would introduce meritocracy and ensure only the very best are officiating at the highest level. Also, a bigger pool of referees would improve this as well. Third, the application of VAR requires a complete overhaul. The clear and obvious threshold must be more rigorously defined and, above all, consistently applied. And it is that word, consistently, that has to be at the forefront. But the objective should be to correct blatant howlers, not to re-referee the match with a microscope. The spirit of the law, not just its pedantic interpretation, must be paramount. Finally, there is the more radical idea of dismantling the Pgmol as a monopoly. Some argue that introducing competition from different officiating bodies could be the catalyst needed to drive up standards. It's a drastic step, I give you that, but the scale of the current crisis may well warrant drastic thinking. So, is the standard of the Pgmol refereeing really that bad? The answer is frustrating and complex. Yes, while the Pgmol can brandish its 96% accuracy statistic, this figure has become a red herring. It is a hollow number that masks the truth. Every fan feels this instinctively. The technical accuracy may have risen, but the credibility, consistency, and authority of the officials have plummeted. We are living in an era where the most important decisions in the biggest matches are regularly and demonstrably wrong, followed by a weekly, predictable stream of apologies. The problem isn't the 96% of calls that are correct. The problem is that the remaining 4% are high-profile, game-altering blunders. Take Liverpool's goal rules for offside against Man City. Amplified by a VAR system that often seems to create as many problems as it solves. These errors are compounded by an organisation that appears opaque, defensive, and fundamentally unaccountable. But constant criticism isn't just fan outrage, it is a justified response to a systemic failure. The trust between officials, players, managers, and fans is broken. Until the Pgmol embraces genuine transparency and true accountability, that trust will not be restored. The game deserves better. The fans deserve better. The apologies are no longer enough. The time for excuses is over. The time for fundamental change is now. What do you think is the single biggest problem with Premier League refereeing? Is it the individuals, the system, or the technology? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'm Gunnar Ritchie. This is In the North Bank. And until next time, stay safe.